Hi, everybody. It's Tony E. Parker, also known as Tony the Tapper. And I want to welcome you to tonight's EFT for UFO Alien Abduction PTSD. I want to welcome you all. And I guess I might as well explain a little bit of my background and kind of what I noticed and what I'd like to offer the community. Okay, flashing back a long time ago, back in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, I was living in the part of the United Kingdom known as Cambridge and Cambridgeshire, which had a lot of U.S. Air Force and RAF bases around it, and in some of those bases there were nukes. And apparently this was also an area where there were a lot of UFO sightings, would you believe, okay? Now, at one point, I was going to school there, and we used to have little picnics, and there was an area called Grantchester Meadows, and if any of you are Pink Floyd fans, you'll remember there was a song called Grantchester Meadows by the Pink Floyd, and it's a real place, and it was a nice, beautiful little meadow by a river, and it was really gorgeous and lovely, and a lot of people used to go on picnics there. Anyway, my wife at the time and a couple of friends, another couple, we went and had a picnic in Grantchester Meadows. And it was really very pleasant, very bucolic. Now, the way I was sitting, I had my friends and my wife were sitting kind of facing me, and I was sort of kind of behind them. I saw what I now know is some kind of ET experience. I saw a tall, slender shape, kind of iridescent, kind of mirage shimmering shape, kind of as if a door opened, kind of pop out of nowhere, walk about, I'd say 50 paces, okay, and then disappear like another door opened and shut, and this shape walked into it and disappeared. So the whole thing probably didn't last more than 15, 20 seconds, 30 seconds at the max, okay? There was no sound, I didn't hear anything, and they didn't see it because they were looking in the wrong direction. And back in those days, I was a bit of a party animal, and I took a lot of the drugs back then, which was LSD and stuff. So I kind of shrugged it off as perhaps I saw something, perhaps I didn't. And in those days, I wasn't really all that aware or conscious about UFOs. I mean, I'd heard about it. I didn't have an opinion one way or the other. The Betty and Barney Hill story hadn't yet really circulated, so basically, I kind of shrugged it off. Well, anyway, flash forward many years, I've been a counselor and a therapist and a helper, and I've led a sober, upstanding life, and I would say probably over the last 25 years, I've noticed a real increase in the amount of people claiming, alien abduction. I mean, coming to me personally. I mean, obviously you read about it on the internet. There are lots of books published. But I'm talking about in my own personal practice, in my own personal contact. Let's put it this way, 25 years ago, once a year maybe, a client would come in saying, well, I'm having, this, that, and the other, etc. And, today I would say probably easily more than 50 a year. So that's significant. Once every week or so, somebody comes in and claims to have some kind of ET, CE-4, CE-3 type experience, okay? Now, again, the majority of my colleagues tend to, other mental health professionals, therapists, etc., they immediately go for the they immediately go for the medication and the drugs, okay? and which is probably not so, I guess that's the way they're trained. My own opinion is that, frankly, when a client comes to me and claims that they're suffering from a specific condition and they've had this kind of an experience, I take it at face value. That's what I treat. And I find I'm just as successful, and probably even more successful, in treating the problem as described to me by the patient as the client than people who just immediately reach for the meds and say you're delusional, you're psychotic, you're seeing things, okay? Now, the technique that I use, I encountered, it's almost a little over 20 years ago. I had come back from Sierra Leone and Liberia, where I was doing kind of volunteer work, relief work, and I had what they call war-related PTSD, and which wasn't fun. And of course, the standard treatment back then was, lots of antipsychotics, anti-anxiety, antidepressants, maybe even electroshock therapy. And again, not much luck getting better. I had a lot of friends who had war-related PTSD, combat PTSD, for years, and they never seemed to get better. Hi, Raphael. Welcome. Can you hear me? Hello. Can you hear me, Raphael?
Hello. How you doing, bud?
Hi. Well, I'm just going through my introduction, and then we'll get into some work in a second, okay?
Oh,
I was just
wonderful.
bringing everybody up to speed how I encountered the treatment that I'm going to describe to you, okay?
Very cool.
In fact, we got to the point where I was talking about coming back from Sierra Leone and Liberia, where I was doing relief work. And even though you're a non-combatant, I was a non-combatant. In wars, everybody gets it, okay? And especially the medics, the shrinks, the doctors, the nurses, they get it almost worse than the combatants because they see everybody, okay? In other words, you may be back at a MASH unit or a base hospital or something like that, but you're seeing everybody coming in hamburger,
Gotcha.
So basically, so I saw all the bodies piled up and everything, and that, so I came back with what they call, war-related PTSD, even though I wasn't a combatant, I was, a caregiver, okay?
Gotcha.
And I guess, and again, I was explaining that, I was offered, the standard treatment, which was antipsychotics, anti-anxiety, anti-depression, all these heavy-duty meds, and electroshock therapy, and probably some kind of inpatient, outpatient rehab treatment. And again, I took one look at what happened to my buddies who'd been in both combat situations, etc., and 10, 15, 20 years later, and they're vegetables.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
Yeah, it wasn't for you.
Right. And as luck would have it, the wife of one of my friends, was a practitioner of something called EFT, which stands for Emotional Freedom Techniques, okay? And at the time, she and another woman were the only two practitioners in New York State. And everybody else is like in California, of course, And, and I didn't really know what and he says, oh, she does this tapping thing and it's energy healing. And, it sounded a little woo-woo, but it sounded a lot safer than, by the way, I had tried hypnosis, I had tried EMDR, I had tried all the other alternate methods, okay?
Gotcha.
With, you know what I'm saying. Now, and I'll explain, my take on that in a second. But anyway, so this EFT thing was presented to me. Like I said, this woman was a therapist. She lived about a mile away from where I lived. And she, and since she was the wife of a friend of mine, I said, hey, can't hurt, So in one session, literally within about 5 or 10 minutes of doing the exercises, which I'm going to teach you right now, tonight anyway.
Very cool.
I'm just leading up to this, okay?
No, of course.
Within literally 5 or 10 minutes of me just following the directions, okay, what she was doing to me, The anxiety and the fibromyalgia and a lot of the physical symptoms went away. I think I mentioned that with PTSD, you often get physical symptoms.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You said that earlier.
So within about 5 or 10 minutes, it all went away. And I felt like a 10,000, weight had been lifted off of me. I felt cool. I felt relaxed.
I can only imagine.
It just felt amazing. And like I said, she didn't give me anything. She didn't slip me a Mickey or anything. You know what I mean? And I felt great. I said, wow, this shit really works. Now, she said to me, this is a Band-Aid. This is only going to work for a few hours. You're going to need to do this every time you get a panic attack, anxiety attack, rage attack, flashback, nightmare, and some blah, blah. She gave me the same list, And he says, but then what we're going to do is we're going to go back to every bad moment during that tour duty, okay? And we're going to neutralize all the trauma.
Wow.
Okay? And so, so basically, so what you got to do on your own to keep yourself out of trouble, okay, is to do this exercise, do this work, okay, and then see me once a week. All right? So that's what happened. And within 8 months, I was completely symptom-free.
Oh.
Now,
wow.
I had a tool to keep me out of trouble while I was getting better. So I was doing this exercise 10 times a day, okay, just to keep me from messing up or going nuts.
Coffee shop incidents,
etc., etc. I was telling Raphael about what happened to me before, or what I did, But again, and so I had a technique to keep me out of trouble, keep me on an even keel, and then gradually, one by one, each one of the bad things that I saw, the fucked up things that I saw, got neutralized to the point like I was watching a movie and it wasn't even my movie anymore.
Wow.
And I didn't have the nightmares, didn't have the flashbacks, didn't have the insomnia, all that stuff, and I wasn't triggered. I wasn't getting triggered, you know what I mean?
Nice.
And it all went, oh. It took 8 months to go 1, 2, 3. Well, now, like I said, it depends on the amount of traumatic incidences that you've been exposed to, okay? And like I said, I was in West Africa for a long time, so there was a lot of bad shit that went down, okay? But if if we're only talking, like, if we get to alien abductions, again, it didn't happen every day. You could probably, it happened. You could probably.
It's more the fear of not knowing when it's going to happen than it's happening constantly.
I got a cure for that too. Okay, and I'll explain it to you. I'll explain it all to you. Okay.
Very cool.
All right. So so at the end of 8 months, I said, "Damn, this stuff works." And I'm impressed. And I saw a movie of the guy who was the big guy called Gary Craig, who's the main teacher of this technique called EFT. And he was, like I said, working with combat vets in California, in the VA in California. I think it was Marin County or something. Anyway, I was sold. So I went and studied it. I became a practitioner. And basically kind of word of mouth, because I didn't really hang a shingle, because it was alternative, complementary, kind of woo-woo.
Gotcha.
I didn't want to scare people. You know what I mean? I wanted to kind of keep it. So a lot of it was word of mouth. And so a lot of combat vets came to me, firemen, first responders, people who had, PTSD of different types. Got a lot of rape victims. Also, let's see what else. Domestic violence victims. Okay. Also got a lot of addicts and alcoholics. Okay, which interesting, and there's probably another reason as well, which I'll explain later. And I got a pretty good rate of success. I mean, if I looked at my numbers, I would say this works for about 80 to 85% of the population.
That's
okay,
really good.
There's about 15-20% that just don't respond. Now I don't know why or what. Maybe they're just wired different or whatever. But you know what? 80 to 85% is pretty good numbers for me.
That's really good.
Okay. So I've been using it, and like I said, initially I was kind of, I won't say I was just quiet about it. I didn't hang a shingle. But
Gotcha.
gradually, more and more with the internet and Facebook, I've become a larger presence. And over the years, I've got a kind of a reputation, and actually there's a lot of YouTubes of me out there. There's a lot of stuff out there with me working with clients, okay? And if you want, I'll send you the information, or you can look it up.
Hey man, you sound like you know what you're talking about, man.
Okay.
I'm with it.
All right. So anyway, I was just explaining before you showed up, Raphael.
Mhm.
I about 20, as I said, I was always a kind of an open-minded guy type experiencer. I had a very minor ET experience, when I was in college about 40 odd years ago, and I kind of went, oh yeah, okay, it's like I said, I think I described it. I saw a kind of, I guess today you'd call it a gray, a long, slender, tall, shimmering, shadowy shape, kind of appear, walk about 50 paces, and then disappear, like opening a door and then going into another door.
Wow.
But like I said, at the time, so it wasn't traumatic. It didn't rock my boat. I just kind of went,
Wow. Yeah.
Right. But again, it's the same sort of wow. Like I'm a member of a UFO group, and we go up on a mountain, and we got the night camera, and and you see the little things flying around. You go, wow, but it's not traumatic. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
So anyway, but I would say, if I was just looking at my numbers from 20 years ago, I would say I got one client a year, okay?
Wow.
Showing up saying, I have these
It's not
flashbacks.
working. Yeah.
I have flashbacks, and it's spaceship, whatever, but with the, abduction type PTSD.
Gotcha.
Today, now it's more like about, I would say 15, 20, 25 patients a year. So there's been a real increase. Okay? Now, that's just me, one guy, not hanging a shingle, not saying, I fix alien PTSD.
No, of course, yeah.
This is just the average kind of my flow of people coming to see me for help, okay?
Gotcha.
So that shows there's an increase. Okay? I have a couple ideas about that, okay? But again, let's get back to the other part of this. Like a lot of people who are researchers and experiencers, I've watched all the movies, I've read all the books, and the one thing that, kind of intrigued me, and it makes sense, is that all the books, whether it's Betty and Barney Hill or all the other experiencers, they're so busy trying to prove that it happened, they don't talk about, well, what do you do to get over it, to get healed, to get treated for it.
That was the biggest thing that I couldn't find, and I searched for years.
Okay,
man.
now, and again,
Years.
it's interesting. Now, they came close
Yeah.
because they went to some guy who was a hypnotist, but he didn't help them. He just sort of said, yeah, it's true. It really happened.
Unlocked all the memories that were there. Yeah.
That's what he said. He said, okay, it's real. You're not lying. Yes, which is basically what hypnosis is good for. But they never went the next step, which was to get better.
Yeah.
Because they had the classic symptoms of PTSD. They had classic PTSD, which of course back then wasn't the diagnosis. They didn't say PTSD back then, okay?
They said cuckoo.
Yeah, they just said alcoholic, depressed, bipolar, whatever. Right.
Gotcha.
Because let's face it, as a diagnosis, I think PTSD is something of the 80s, more like 84, 85 or something like that. I can't remember exactly when it became official, But again, they all talk about, it's like they're so busy trying to prove it happened, and it's understandable because, if you went to a shrink and you said, I got kidnapped, and they stuck a probe up my thingy, and they took a biopsy, and then they dumped me in a field, the guy most shrinks would start to give you antipsychotics. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's how they're trained. That's their attitude. That's their mindset. They don't know any better.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Now, my approach is I'm not going to debate with you whether you saw it or you didn't see it.
Awesome.
My point is to treat the problem, treat the symptoms.
And that's a lot of the part that makes people not want to even go get help. Is the fact that, oh man, but I want to get help, but if I say what's actually happening, they're just gonna just toss it away like it doesn't. So you end up just kind of having to deal with it yourself. And if you're lucky, you find a way out of it. But most of us aren't lucky. So
Right.
it's like I don't, yeah.
Okay. So, uh, so EFT, emotional freedom techniques, is a form of energy healing that's been around, at least in this country, 25, 30 years, but it's been around with the Asian Indians and the Tibetans and the Chinese and the traditional Chinese healers about 5,000 years.
Lovely.
It's basically a form of acupuncture without needles.
Oh, nice.
Okay?
Okay.
Now, the good thing about it, the way it's taught, it was taught by my teacher. It's something that you can learn in about 5 minutes and you can self-treat.
Okay.
And
Okay,
that's the
exciting.
point that I like, because here's the
That's
point.
actually that's really exciting.
Yeah, because here, say it's Monday night, and
Yeah.
you're having a flashback or a nightmare, and you can't get back to sleep, okay, and you're sweating in bed and stuff like that, and you're having symptoms, but your session with me is Friday night. What are you going to do? Well, this technique allows you to take care of yourself in the meantime,
That's beautiful. Man.
okay? Now, what I'm going to teach tonight are 3 or 4 just tapping routines, and again, this is going to be recorded, okay? This is being recorded, and so this will be available on Facebook and YouTube.
Very
So
cool.
that's a no-brainer. You don't have to write anything down, okay? All right, and I'm going to teach 3 or 4 tapping routines or techniques, which are for general stabilizing, relaxing, chilling out, feeling better.
Cool.
In other words, just to kind of calm you down, chill you out, bring, you know what I'm saying? Get.
Which would be amazing because it happens so fast that if I had something to grab onto before I fall off that cliff of whatever
Exactly.
I'm going through, it'll be like the safety harness while you're holding on to,
Exactly.
It'll be everything. It'll
That's
be
the-
everything.
That's the whole point, and it's a complete no-brainer. Now, the first exercise, and there's a kind of there's a lot of interesting cross points here, and I'll give you my opinion, which is an opinion, okay?
Oh, of course, yeah. I'm open-minded as well.
Okay, so here's one of my opinions. I'm going to teach you something called the Protective Shield of Golden Light, which is a classic Tibetan mantra, and we're going to combine it with the EFT. And this is, again, thousands of years old. And this will do 2 or 3 things for you. This, first of all, if you start to feel hypervigilant, paranoid, they're coming to get me, I don't feel safe, this will chill you out. Also, functionally, and this is the part that's interesting, and this is my opinion part where I'm going with this, why aliens pick certain people. Okay? And here's where I'm going to go with this.
Yeah,
Just
please.
like a predator picks like a lion on the savannah, okay? And there's the lion looking out at the savannah, and there's a bunch of antelopes down there, okay? Now that lion has got some process of deciding which antelope is lunch.
Yeah, it's not random. It's definitely not random.
No, he
Yeah.
picks the target of
He picks the right
opportunity.
one. Yeah.
Okay? And lions have infrared vision. They see things beyond our scope of vision. Okay? Where I'm going with this is we emit certain kinds of vibrations. We're like little radio transmitters. Besides emitting, verbal energy, okay, sounds, we also emit electromagnetic energy. And some
Heart
people
pulse.
call that auras, okay? we're putting out energy. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Now, certain frequencies, certain vibrations, okay, are attract certain kinds of people to us. Have you ever noticed that?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
a musician, so
you
I
understand
get
that.
it.
Okay. Now, this is my opinion here.
Of
I
course.
suspect when they're scanning planet Earth, which has 8 billion people on it, and they're looking for, lab specimen 20,964, and the reason they pick you rather than the guy next door is because you're emitting some kind of signal that they say, aha, we want this one.
Got you. And
We
that makes
want
a lot of
this. We
sense.
want this lab rat.
Got you.
Okay.
Got you. Makes a lot of sense.
All right. So part of this exercise also, ready for this, changes your frequency that takes you off their scanner.
Like a camouflage effect, like a
You're changing
camouflage.
you're changing
When
the
you're being chased by predators, instead of running, the best thing you can do is hold on to a tree and hope that you match the same color. I get it, yeah, man. It's almost like, not to use the other analogy, like a Jurassic Park, but I don't know if you ever see Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell. There's a point of it where he like dumps a whole bunch of dinosaur urine on himself, so the dinosaurs can't smell him.
right,
So it's kind of like the same idea.
right, exactly.
Makes
But
a
this
lot of
is
sense.
doing, and again, this exercise. Now, if the Tibetans were doing this to kind of protect themselves from demons, and what do you
Got
think demons and angels were 5,000 years ago?
Yep, 100%. Yep, totally agree.
Because
Totally
let's
agree.
face, personally, it makes more sense to me that an angel or a demon was probably an ET, and that's what an illiterate goat herd or rice farmer 5,000 years ago would say. Oh, they wouldn't understand ET, but they'd understand demon or angel.
Yep, I'm with you. Totally understand the concept.
So
Totally
the
understand the
idea of this mantra to change your vibration so you could protect yourself from demons.
concept.
Do you get the logic that
No,
of the Tibetans?
100%. They label it demons, but it's more like not from here type
Exactly.
deal. I get it. Yeah.
All right. So I want you to, now what we're going to do is we're going to tap and massage and tap on various chakras and energy points while saying in English some statements and affirmations that are basically mantras translated into English. Okay?
Got you.
All right, so this is the kind of, when you hear those, you see those movies of Tibetan monks chanting.
Yeah,
This
it's
is what
like
they're
nam-
chanting,
it's
but
like
in English.
Namaha. It's
Okay.
like the words say a certain frequency that allows the
Exactly,
vibration.
you got it.
Yep,
Okay,
yep.
all right. But we're just going to do it in English, but we're going to be doing the tapping on different chakras and energy points to have the same effect, okay?
To open the pump, to get the flow going, to get the chi flowing.
Exactly. So again, rub your sore spot. Now, if you feel around above your heart, above your breast, below your collarbone, there's an area left of center that might be sore or tender or sensitive. Me, it's left of center right here. Do you see? Try an area. You might find it.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It's sensitive,
okay.
right?
Yep.
Okay, that's called the sore spot or the tender spot. That's where a lot of negative chi is stored. It's blocked or trapped chi, and that's also probably the energy that they pick up on and go, lunch.
Gotcha. Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Well, I'll show you some other energy points, which are symptoms of the same. This is where I'm going with this. This makes sense in a weird way.
Nah, hey, man, I'm a weird dude, so it works.
Okay. All right. So now this is one of the points. Okay. Now another point I'm going to show and demonstrate the same thing. If you feel on your rib cage, on the side of your rib cage, feel around under your rib cage, you'll notice one of your ribs is also going to be sensitive or tender. Side of the rib cage, under your arm. If I was talking to
yeah.
right. Okay. Block.
Yeah, I got one right here.
All right. That's
I got one.
block, trap, negative energy.
Wow, man. That's, whoa.
Okay. All right. So what our job is is we need to neutralize that negative chi or that negative energy by the mantras and the tapping on the other points as well. And this will render you invisible to demons.
Wow.
And protect you from negative energy, negative spirits, negative entities. Remember, this is the language they used 5,000 years ago.
Of course. Yeah.
But this, who do you think they're talking about?
I know exactly what they're talking about. My good old buddies, my buddies.
Okay.
Jeez, yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, so let's start tapping the top of the head. And I want you to start tapping the top of your head 7 to 10 times. And now we're going to start saying some affirmations, okay? Just say some affirmations and just repeat after me, okay? And here we go. Okay. Just follow. This is like Simon says. Just say energy system.
Energy system.
Okay, now tap on your eyebrow now 7 to 10 times, both eyebrows. 7 to 10 times. I'm instructing you.
I am instructing you.
Okay, outside corner of the eye now. Okay, to generate.
To generate.
Now cheekbone under the eye, 7 to 10 times. A protective shield of golden light.
A protective shield of golden light.
Now under the nose now, on the upper lip. All around my body.
All around my body.
Okay, now under the mouth now, or between the lower lip and the chin. Protecting me from all negative energy.
Protecting me from all negative energy.
Okay, now on the collarbone now, 7 to 10 times. All negative influences.
All negative influences.
Very good. Under the arm. All negative intentions.
All negative intentions.
Very good. Now the side of the hand now. Side of the hand, 7 to 10 times. All negative entities and spirits.
All negative entities and spirits.
Okay, very good. Now go top of the head. Again, crown chakra. Sending them all to the sun.
Sending them all to the sun.
Now back to the eyebrows. To be transmuted to love.
To be transmuted to love.
Okay, now outside corner of the eye. Only allowing in.
Only allowing in.
Okay, under the eye, cheekbone. Loving.
Loving.
Healing.
Healing.
Positive.
Positive.
Now under the nose. Energies.
Energies.
Under the mouth and intentions.
And intentions.
Okay, very good. Now collarbone now. And if I have any negative energies or intentions.
And if I have any negative energies or intentions.
Okay, under the arm. Okay, so I send them all to the sun.
I send them all to the sun.
Karate chop now. Side of the hand. To be transmuted to love.
To be transmuted to love.
Okay, very good. Let's all take a deep breath. And I'll release. Okay.
Wow, man.
You felt a little bit of a rush?
My God, I feel like all my pumps are open. My hands really feel kind of really vibration.
Well, it
like
gets better, even better.
Oh man,
this is just.
I feel like a weird, almost like my body's loosening up a little bit.
Right. Well, this is the warm up. Okay.
Wow.
Now, this lasts about 4 to 6 hours.
Okay. Wow, that feels good.
Okay. Now remember, I said this is like the aspirin.
Like aspirin, yeah.
Okay,
you said
okay.
like aspirin. This is exciting, is what it is.
Okay. All right. The next one is called Ho'oponopono, which is a traditional native Hawaiian mantra for healing. And basically, roughly, Ho'oponopono in English means healing or making right that which is wrong.
Okay, got you.
And the kahunas, the Hawaiian shamans, used to go out on the cliff, on the sea cliffs, and shout, blow the seashell and shout at the sea gods,
Got
This
you.
would heal the village if there was a disease or illness or trouble or whatever. And it kind of disappeared, but as Hawaii became Americanized,
Got you.
But there was a native Hawaiian American psychiatrist who ran a mental institution, okay, and he hated his job. He was depressed. He wanted out. The place was like Silence of the Lambs. You know what I mean?
Got you.
And he hated the place. But he remembered his grandparents talking about Ho'oponopono and the kahuna healing the village and etc. Yada yada yada.
Gotcha.
So he started chanting Ho'oponopono at the office, and the native Hawaiian staff got into it with him. Okay, the staff who spoke Hawaiian, they all started chanting Ho'oponopono. The whole office starts to be a better place. Nobody's depressed. Everybody's happy. They don't hate the jobs anymore. Everybody's a lot more easygoing. No more stress. Here's the weird one. The inmates started behaving better.
Wow, now that's a big stretch right there. That's a big one.
So then this guy started doing Ho'oponopono over the case files of the inmates. Now these people were permanently, sentenced to to the institution. They're not leaving anyway, but they weren't so violent. They weren't so dangerous. It didn't take 3 guys to feed lunch. You know what I mean?
Gotcha. Yeah,
they were
it was a better environment than what it was before the exam. Gotcha.
Exactly. So anyway, this is good. I would suggest, these are like me. These are the aspirin, okay? And again, I would do these as often as you need to do them. Okay?
Gotcha. I'm going to do it when I get off.
Okay.
I'm do it again when I get off.
Okay, top of the head. And again, we're going to do this in English, okay? All right, so just again, it's Simon Says, okay? And then say, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Okay, eyebrow, please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Okay, side of the eye, I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Okay, under the eye, I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
Under the nose, thank you.
Thank you.
Under the mouth, I love you.
I love you.
Okay, collarbone, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Under the arm, please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Karate chop, I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Okay, top of the head, I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
Eyebrow, thank you.
Thank you.
Side of the eye, I love you.
I love you.
Okay, under the eye, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Under the nose, please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Very good. Under the mouth, I forgive you.
I forgive you.
Collarbone, I forgive myself.
I forgive myself.
Under the arm, thank you.
Thank you.
Karate chop, I love you.
I love you.
Take a deep breath. Now release. Okay. So again, this is a great exercise for releasing, changing the energy in a place, but it's also good for relationship stuff. If you want to do like a kiss and make up with your partner, with your wife, this is perfect, okay?
Awesome.
But it's, again, the whole purpose of this, and this is where we're getting into the energy vibration thing. And again, this is my opinion, okay?
Of course.
I think they're tuning in on negative energy for looking for lunch.
Okay. Which makes a lot of sense if you look at the David Icke theories and the way they prey on certain ETs prey on. Yeah, no, definitely.
So the point is, if you can elevate or change your energy vibration, if for any to something more positive, to a higher vibration, you're gonna disappear off their radar screen.
Guys, it's almost going to be like you don't exist because they can't see lunch. They can't see it.
Or you're not what they want.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So now the next exercise is called the gratitude tap. Okay. And it's the same exercise in as much we're going to be doing the tapping, but what we do is we make a list of people in our lives, aspects of our lives, again, recent events, anything that makes us feel positive or grateful or happy. So, recent event or recent person or aspect of your life that you feel positive or grateful about. Just share with me right now.
Well, my wife, my kids, my business. I mean,
okay,
there's
well,
a lot.
That would make a list of that, okay?
Yeah. Okay.
We'll pick your wife. That was the first one, okay? So, thinking about your wife, I want you to start tapping the top of your head. And again, thinking about your wife and how good she makes you feel and how you love her and how she's been there for you through thick and thin. And you've been together, you said 18 years?
15 years.
Right,
15
okay.
years.
And she's still there and she loves you and you love her and you got great kids. And I want you to say those two magic words. Thank you. Say
Thank you.
Okay, now tap on the eyebrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outside corner of the eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the eye, cheekbone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the nose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the mouth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Collarbone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the arm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karate chop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Take a deep breath. And now release. Okay, and I'm going to share today. I do some volunteer work in my neighborhood. Me and a bunch of about 10 other seniors. We get together and collect food and distribute food to the poorer families in our area.
Very cool.
I think we did about 110 families today. So top of the
Wow.
head. Top of the head. Thank you.
Thank you.
Eyebrow. Thank you.
Thank you.
Side of the eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the nose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the mouth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Collarbone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the arm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karate chop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Awesome. Take a deep breath. And I'll release. Okay, and now I'm going to share you a slightly different spin on that, which is really good for business. But you see how positive you can feel?
No, I'm loving it, man.
Okay.
I feel like my cheekbones are about to swell up. I'm smiling so hard over it.
Good. Good. Well, you're
Good
responding.
vibes,
It's
good
working.
vibes,
Yeah.
good
Yeah.
vibes.
Okay, so here's this is really good for money and business. All right, so I want you to share with me the name, either first name or initial, of one of your favorite customers or clients who feeds you good work. You love working with them. They pay you well and you enjoy them. Go ahead.
Neil.
Okay, top of the head. Neil,
Yeah.
thank you. Just say
Thank you.
Okay, I got connecting with the abundance and the success that Neil brings you and how grateful you are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Outside corner of the eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the eye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the nose. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the mouth. Thank you.
Thank you.
Collarbone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Under the arm. Thank you.
Thank you.
Karate chop. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take a deep breath. And I'll release. Okay, now, this is cash and prizes. You make a list of, say, your 5 to 10 of your best clients. Okay, well, now what I do, when I started, practicing years ago, I had like 2 clients. Today, almost fills up one of those student spiral notebooks, okay? So I just take the 20 last customers, and I do this every morning. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay?
Awesome.
All right, and I keep getting clients,
They just keep coming.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Now,
It's the gratitude, man. It's like the latitude of gratitude.
there
buddy.
you go. There you go. So that works. Now, another thing is, if I call it the love tap, since you're married, what you do is you make a list of the things about your wife you really love and admire. Okay, and
That's easy. That's easy.
Okay. So again, just share one aspect of your wife that you really love and admire. One thing she does that you really love.
Her patience.
Okay,
Her
beautiful. Okay, top of the head, thinking about your wife and how grateful you are for her patience and how you love her so much. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Eyebrow, thank you.
Thank you.
Side of the eye, thank you.
Thank you.
Under the eye, thank you.
Thank you.
Under the nose, thank you.
Thank you.
Under the mouth, thank you.
Thank you.
Collarbone, thank you.
Thank you.
Under the arm, thank you.
Thank you.
Karate chop, thank you.
Thank you.
Very good. Excellent. Let's all take a deep breath. And I'll release. Very cool. Excellent. So you see, now we're just doing generalized stuff. We haven't even gone into the deep dark doo-doo yet.
Nice.
You see, this is just the aspirin.
Gotcha.
And part of what what I'm suggesting tonight, okay, is initially we don't go to the deep end of the pool.
No, yeah, of course not.
Yeah.
You gotta crawl before you can walk. You gotta walk before you can run. Gotcha.
So what I suggest to everybody is use these 3 basic taps that I just taught you. The gratitude tap in the different ways I show for money, love, and then generally, okay. Then the Ho'oponopono, and then the protective shield of golden light. Do that. Do all 3 of them at least once a day. I would do them anytime, as many times as you have a problem, okay?
Okay, you got it.
To chill.
Now the question is the words exactly, because I love the first one.
This is going to be on Facebook and YouTube.
Okay, beautiful. Okay,
you gotta. Now I was trying. You got to friend me on Facebook or type a comment so I can see you, so I know you, so I can then connect with you directly. Okay.
You got it, but yeah. Definitely.
All right. So basically, there'll be a YouTube or a live. This is a live broadcast on Facebook right now.
Very cool.
All right. So basically, you will see this, and then you just tap. It's a no-brainer. You just tap along. That's it.
I'm loving it, man.
All right. So this is basically, like I said, lesson 1. And, again, it's almost as if I don't care what happened to you because I don't judge. Awesome. And I mean, I have compassion for what happened to you. And I believe you. You know what I'm saying? But it's almost, we don't need to know that yet. Because what's most important is to treat where you're at now.
I'm loving it.
Okay? And to take you off their radar.
Which will be useful for a little while.
Okay? And again, the next thing we're going to do is at some point, in a few days or sometime in the future, you and I can have a sit down in a private session, okay? And then I'll bring out the pencil and we start writing and you tell me everything. But right now, it's almost like I don't need to know.
Hey, man, the information I'm getting right now is helping me already. I can feel the pump. Like I know where the pumps are at the top of the spine and the bottom of the base. And I can actually feel the spinal cord liquid, man, is moving. Like it's feeling good.
Right. Well, this stuff really works. It's like I said, I had the same reaction when this woman worked with me over my combat PTSD, and like I said, I couldn't believe it. I thought she'd slip me something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so this stuff really works. It's very simple, but then at a certain point, to get permanent relief, okay, we go back into the deep dark doo-doo and we start working on it in a specific way, but that's fairly complicated. And again, we can do some of it in public, but it's better in a private situation. You know what I'm saying?
Awesome. No, yeah, of course.
And again, like I said, the purpose of what I want to do isn't so much for people to prove that they really had an ET experience. That's a given. Okay? I'm interested in healing you.
Which is, and trust me, I can't find it anywhere. The closest person that I heard really even talk about it was Dr. Carla Turner had a video or two when she was talking about a lot of the things that I have, and a lot of David Jacobs touches some bases, but it's more about of what happened and why it's happening, never the treatment part of this. So this is literally a treat, no pun intended.
Right, no, this is it. That's where we're going with this. And like I said, I'll be here every Thursday. Okay, so the name of the game is to do this once a day. All right? At least once a day. Like I said, when I had the combat PTSD, I was doing it 10 times a day. Okay. But I was seriously dinky down. I was nuts. I was dangerous. Okay? So I had to do it 10 times. Maybe you only have to do it 3 times a day. I don't know
Well,
how serious.
if it feels as good as it does right now, I say once in the morning, once if it happens, once midday, once if it happens, and once before I go to sleep, I'll keep it going. You know, like,
Well, if you have insomnia, do it when you go to sleep. If you wake up in the middle of the night, just do it.
yeah, I'm talking about. I go to sleep at midnight. I'll probably wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Go to sleep at 5 in the morning. Wake up at 7. Like, that's my sleep.
That's a classic symptom of PTSD.
Got you. Okay. Okay.
All right, and the tapping works perfectly.
Oh,
Okay, like I said, the deep dark doo-doo, it's a little more involved, you know, and let's face it, we don't necessarily want to do it in public. You know what I mean?
no, I got you. Yeah, it's more of a private setting. I got you.
Yeah, yeah. And that's, you know, that's when we get down to, you know, I roll up the shirt sleeves and we go to work. But for the purposes of, you know, other people out there who are also experiencers who, you know, CE-4, okay, I'm here every Thursday, 9 p.m., okay, and I'm happy to take everybody through the aspirin, you know, the basic warm-up series, okay, because that'll give you some immediate relief. And Raphael here, you confirm that the stuff works, right?
Hey, hey, if you look at the video, just look at my face when it started, and look at my face now. This is, I mean, it's an obvious. You see a lot more teeth towards the end.
Right, exactly. So cool. This is all. Listen, this is great. And guys, everybody out there, I want to wish you all a happy, prosperous, abundant, healthy, safe, protected, love-filled new year 2018, right? Blessings to everybody. Raphael, I'm glad you made it on, and the best is yet to come, okay?
Awesome, buddy. Thank you so much for everything you do, and thanks, just thanks, man. It's amazing.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I'll be here again. You can look up my Facebook page again for the different stuff. I'll also put my YouTube channel on. You can see the work that I do. Okay, I'm pretty much an open book, so people are perfectly free to look up my stuff. Okay.
Awesome.
All right, bud.